Hi folks, Jack O'Malley coming to you from the office today. I am recording this at a little after 1. I've got to get across the street to session. And I know that Rudy Giuliani is testifying later tonight. When this airs at 6 o'clock when I normally post, he will be before the committee. So I'm not going to be commenting on anything about that because it hasn't happened yet. But we will talk briefly on that whole situation. All right. I want to hit with COVID situations. We're still seeing, obviously increased rates, which makes sense because it's fall and we're indoors and all of that stuff. One of the things that I think is important is the state, according to this story, is sporting about a 20% hospital inpatient COVID rate, meaning about 4,200 persons are hospitalized in the state for the virus. And I know there's lots of, well, what about this? What about that? Again, I still believe that one of the things that we have to focus on is that if your loved one goes to the hospital, you want to make sure that we have a nursing staff that is energized and ready to take care of them. And so one of the problems we're dealing with now with the COVID is it is spreading. People are getting it. We knew it would. It's a virus. It's perfect. It's nature. That includes our hospital staffs and nurses, obviously there, but then everybody behind them that support the nurses. So, and if we have to start moving people from different departments, then that would mean that elective type procedures would have to be eliminated or reduced. So we're just trying to keep our hospitals at a point where our nurses and our staffs are not overtaxed. So that's when we argue about this or that or whatever, let's remember when it comes to keeping people safe and healthy and out of a hospital, that's the number one issue. So, if you get the COVID, you don't have to go to a hospital. Well, that's good. But if you do, you want to make sure there's a staff that's ready to go. So I just throw that out there. I will say this, people are starting to get fatigued. They've been fatigued. And one of my criticisms of the governor, so here's, people yak at me. Not everything the governor has said is wrong. We have a virus, there's this, there's that. It's the way we've handled it. And I will go back and say that the first few weeks, we were all with the governor. But then after that, I believe she's really kept the hammer down. It's like a gas pedal. Are you full steam, pedal to the metal, or do you ease up? Do you do this? We didn't ease up. Not until the Supreme Court came in and said, hey, you can't be doing what you're doing. Then we eased up a little bit. But right now, people are fatigued. We've got, today in COVID oversight, we had the new director of the UIA in. And oh my gosh, there was a report out just before Thanksgiving that just listed all the problems with our UIA and how they had dismantled or turned off the fraud detection, which caused more fraud, and it goes on and on. We've got restaurants that are being hammered and they shouldn't be. So the question is, will the governor extend this pause, as she calls it, AKA stay at home? So we'll wait and see. It'll be interesting if she does, because she will be pushing the legal boundaries. And again, I think if we can just ease some of these restrictions, people are ready to follow the rules. And we are seeing increased infection rate because it's a virus and it's perfect. Well, we really want to do is keep those hospitalizations down. So, again, everybody's picked their corners, and it's unfortunate, and it's really because of how we started this whole thing back in April and May. Again, I think the governor kept the pedal to the metal when in July and August we could have eased up. She still kept those businesses closed, and so we're in a nutshell, not in a good shape right now. So I hope the governor, when this pause is up on the 8th, I hope she leaves it off. Let people follow the rules, follow the distancing, do all that good stuff, and understand too that it's a virus and it's out there. UIA, we had the unemployment agency, and again in our COVID oversight with the new interim director. Steve Gray resigned a few weeks ago, and Director Olson is now in charge. And there was a report just before Thanksgiving that basically highlighted all the problems with the UIA this spring. Deloitte, Haskins and Touche, or whatever the heck the name of the company is, did this audit, and all sorts of problems. And one of the things that struck me in their comments and this report was the amount of fraud. UIA did some things they shouldn't have done. They turned off fraud detection because they were trying to speed up claims because people were behind. I think their intentions were good. What they did, though, was not good. But one of the things that really strikes me is how many people are just thieves. How many fraudsters from around the world. Michigan was being hit up by people from outside the country. They even had some instances where, I don't know which offices, but you know how we were saying, hey, you can call your representative's office and we'll help work the system. There were some of these dirtbags that called representative offices because they've stolen somebody's identity, et cetera, et cetera. And they were trying to get into the system that way. So, gosh, I'll be honest. I said to somebody, and I heard that today, I said, I hope that if these fraudsters, not legit people, these fraudsters who saw disarray and went in to try and capitalize on other people's misery, I hope they burn in hell. I mean, it's just, they are miserable, miserable people, these fraudsters. So hopefully they'll be able to get that taken care of. The other good thing that came out of, according to the UIA director today, is that their appointment system seems to be working. And their appointment, set up an appointment, is not just for, hey, I've got a claim. It's for people who have an issue or a real problem. So I'd like to know if you have you used the appointment system? Let our office know. Don't send a comment here. Email the office. You can go to repomalley.com and send us a message. How's the appointment system working? Have you used it, and where are you at with it? Okay. Don't put the comments here. I might not see it, but if you take the time to email us, it means more. Okay. So if you've had some issues with the appointment system or it worked well, let me know, because that'll be good feedback. Let's talk about just one other thing, the vaccine. Of course, they're talking about getting that out here. As I understand it, frontline workers, the most vulnerable, will be getting it, the first batches here in December. But they are predicting right now that by April or May, the vaccine, if you wish to take it, will be available to everybody in the state of Michigan. So that's good news. The Warp Speed program, I believe it was, by President Trump, seems to have worked. So let's hope that's the case. All right, election issue. I know that's got a lot of people fired up, rightfully so. One of the things, I've heard and my colleagues have heard is, what are you doing about it? Well, we're doing what we can as a legislature. Yesterday, the Senate Oversight Committee listened to more than 7 hours of testimony from people who had issues or were bringing things forward. Today, as I mentioned at the start of this, the House Oversight Committee, which I'm not on for this, is meeting with Rudy Giuliani. Now, a lot of people, it's a showboat. Why are you letting Rudy in? Well, he is the representative of the aggrieved candidate, and this is an opportunity for him to present his evidence. So the Oversight Committee will hear from him. Now, remember the legislature's role in this situation. It's not enforcement of laws. That's the governor, the Secretary of State, and Attorney General. Now, I do question those three and how they've been handling some things, but it's not the legislature. We're not an enforcement. We're a lawmaking. So one of the things that I believe will come out of these hearings, which I think is great, because I can't trust the next election. Well, our oversight committees are getting testimony. We are hearing this evidence. These are things that we can focus on towards fixing issues that are out there for the next election. So when people say, I won't be able to trust the next election, that's why we're holding these oversight committees. And that's what the legislature's job is to do. So it'll be interesting to hear what Mr. Giuliani has to say. Again, this will be posted at 6, and Mr. Giuliani speaks at 6 or 6:15, something like that. You can watch it live on House TV if you go to the Michigan website. So that's my update for you. Things are fluid right now. We are in the final weeks of the 100 100th legislature. So I'll keep you updated on how things are going and where we're at with that. So that's it for right now. I hope you have a good evening, and I will be in touch again. Again, let me know any issues you're having with the unemployment agency. Email the office, call the office. Do not put your problems and comments here, because there's so many of them, it's hard to follow, and that's not a good business way to handle things, okay? All right, I'm out of here. Have a good evening.